And welcome to the Sacred Couple Show, where we help conscious couples create powerful, loving, and harmonious relationships. We are your hosts, Kevin
and Tatiana Tees, and today we have our lovely guests, Kelly and Joe. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you feeling today?
Doing so good. It's nice that it's Memorial Day, so just so sunny today. We were working outside.
Yeah, we're ready to, we set the very clear intention before the call to just be as open and honest and authentic as possible, to share the love and the light of what is for both of us the best relationship we've ever had, and I think that if I would have seen what recording is about to be maybe 2 years ago, it would have totally transformed my life. So that's just excited for that opportunity.
Yeah, you guys are such an inspiration, and we would love to dig deep into your relationship. So let's just dive in and get started. How long have you been together?
It'll be about 9 months on the 2nd.
Almost 9 seconds.
You guys count exactly the days and the minutes and all that, or not?
No. We started dating on September 2nd last year, and so every second of the month is our luniversary, and so we've been together almost 9 seconds.
We do the same thing. Every month, 20th.
Celebrating an anniversary every month, no matter what year it is. Every month we have an annivery. So,
and how long have you guys been together now?
Well, he knows better.
Well, so we're going 5 years. Wow, 6 months and what am I on? 4 days? No, 7 days.
What? Whoa.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm pretty close. So
we stopped counting after 5 years, but we used to be no, exactly. So with time, you're you start to september the exact things. But
6 years in September, though.
We know that September 20th is the day, so we celebrate that. Yeah,
so
awesome.
September as well, so that's cool.
Yeah. Well, tell us how you guys met. What does it look like?
Yeah, it's a good story.
It is a good story. You want to start?
Yeah. So we met it was 2016 at Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within. So it was the perfect place to meet somebody, but it was crazy how it actually happened, because it was the very last day. I was about to go home. It was in San Jose, so I lived in Sacramento at the time. So I was going to go drive an hour back home in the evening, and the gate was shut that my car was in. And I was like, oh my God, I can't get to my car.
Wow.
How am I going to leave? My uncle lived an hour away, so I had to have him come pick me up. And I was stressing out and all this stuff. And then this guy walks by and he's like, hey, while you're waiting, do you want to come to this crew after party? And I'm like, sure, why not? And then I ended up sitting right next to him, and that's how we met. So
yeah,
it's funny because you think something bad happens, and then it's really all for a reason.
Yeah, what you didn't know at the time was that my buddy Nathan, who was the guy that walked up to her on the street, was learning how to pick up girls. And so he was taking one of those pickup classes, and he's got all his lines and all strategy and the social dynamics and all the things they teach. It's actually really good personal development stuff, a lot of those tactics or whatever. And anyway, so he saw this beautiful blonde girl, and he walks up to her. He's at a Tony Robbins event. He just got done making his move and changing his state and all this stuff. He's my buddy. He was volunteering with me. And so he just runs some lines and ends up inviting her to the crew after party. And I was there, and she sat right next to me, and she was absolutely out of my league, totally in every way. She was killing it in real estate and had her shit together. At least it seemed that way. I was struggling to figure out how to make my first deal happen in real estate, and just had a lot of questions about my direction in life, my certainty, my clarity of purpose, and what I really wanted. And then, the worthiness of, can I even ask for what I really want? And both of us were in relationships at the time that we're probably the best that we could have thought we could ever have had at the time. Yeah, that's how I felt. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so we were just basically he's like, oh, you do real estate? I was like, yeah. And then I was talking about my passion about the Venus Project, and then he was interested in that. So I was like, oh, let's just connect on Facebook and keep in touch. And so we were just purely friends. You didn't think anything was ever gonna turn into anything from that. And but yeah, I mean, good. We totally we shifted who we were since then. We both started following our passions, he had his spiritual awakening and started following his purpose. And then I started seeing like him doing like videos online, and I was like, oh dang, like he's starting to like really, you know, do his thing. And I was like seeing him from afar. And then I moved to San Diego from Sacramento and started pursuing sustainable development. So I started traveling the world, and he started traveling the world around the same time. And we had like one conversation, like any conversation we had, we would always like really just love talking to each other. Well, I love talking to you. But yeah, so then one day he's just texting. He's like, hey, I'll be heading over to San Diego. And this was in around August 2018. And you're like, oh, do you know of anybody's couch I could crash on? And I was like, sure, you could crash on my couch.
Yeah. So I was in LA, and I'm like looking at where I'm going to crash. Where's the next couch I'm going to crash on? Because I was doing this thing, bouncing all over Europe and all over the place as a digital nomad, and doing the thing as a bachelor that, you know, we're told that we should do, right? And just have so much freedom and go around the world. I started to find that it was like really friggin' lonely though, when you're just staying in hostels and you don't know anybody, and you have these 2-day-long relationships with people like, yeah, we should totally stay in touch, and then nobody ever does. And so I was like, I'm gonna start only staying with friends. And I was like, what friends do I know in the San Diego area? Oh, Kelly just moved down there. So I shoot her a text like, hey, Kelly, you know, do you happen to know of any couches I could crash on? She's like, yeah, you can come crash on mine. And then I go down there, and as soon as I like locked eyes on her and we hugged, I was like, uh-oh. And then she takes me to her place, and there's no friggin' couch. She starts pumping up an air mattress, or she tells me to pump up an air mattress in her bedroom, and I'm like, this is, you know, this is not gonna be just a platonic weekend.
Oh, wow.
A few days later, I asked her to be my girlfriend in a bubble bath.
No.
That's so romantic.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah. And so ever since you've been together, or it took you still some challenges to overcome to kind of unite?
Yeah, I was traveling around at that point. So I was literally about to leave to New Mexico in a couple of days. He was
Australia.
Well, I went to New Mexico first.
Oh,
and
right.
then he met me, and it took a train to like New Mexico after I was done with my Collective Legacy event, which was like a sustainable gathering. And then we drove back together and spent a couple more days together there. And then I left to Australia. And so we didn't see each other for like a month, and we were just talking on the phone every day. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go to New Zealand. Like, you want to meet me there? So yeah, he ended up flying all the way to New Zealand
For her birthday.
for my birthday.
Oh,
And
boy.
did a camper van trip together after like just barely being together for a little bit.
We're together for 3 weeks, and like after about 3 weeks together, we got in a camper van in New Zealand for a 3-week camper van trip where we like lived together every minute of every day, and we didn't kill each other, so we're like, wow, we might be perfect for each other.
Yeah, we definitely overcame some challenges. Like there was one point, it was hilarious. We were going to Mount Doom, where you know, like they film Lord of the Rings, like where he throws the ring in the fire, and it's like Mount Doom, and like
I got straight up possessed. I seriously did.
Yeah, there was like some stuff going on, and he's like, I want to move back to Cleveland, and I was like, okay, and you know, we were just kind of trying to like figure that out, and he ended up like crying in my arms on the mountain that day, and just broke down, and you know, we just realized he was like afraid to really jump into something, because we had both been single for like almost a year before that. So jumping straight into a relationship where like we're together every second was like an identity crisis, you know. So but that was a huge breakthrough for us to like, you know, make or break, like, is this really gonna work? So yeah. What was your experience?
I love it. Your story is just so fun, like how you've been traveling and just like chasing each other. It's super cool. I'm glad you united. So do you guys live together now, or are you still like in a nomadic mode? Like, what does your life look like today?
Yeah, we've pretty much been living together ever since New Zealand. So we got,
where
like,
are you located?
in Encinitas. Yeah, we're in a 3-month lease here, and looks like we're probably going to bounce around a little bit after this next month. Maybe go to Florida for a little bit, probably, or something. I don't know. We just kind of like flip a coin and throw a dart at the map and just make it work. Yeah, there's like so many variables involved that we can't plan that far in advance right now. Basically, the only thing that holds true is like our businesses and our relationship will continue to move forward, you know, and the where and the how is all yet to be seen.
Totally. So, since you guys met, in what ways have you made each other's lives better?
Oh my God, she saves my life like 4 times a week.
Aw.
Yeah.
Supergirl.
Yeah, I'd like to go first if that's okay.
Yeah, please do.
I never realized how like addicted to like egoic certainty I was. You know, like when you're just traveling the world on your own as a male, young, digital nomad, you think you know everything, and the world will kind of let you believe that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Until you start dating a conscious, beautiful vegan girl, and she'll immediately show you how like addicted you are to random things that don't actually serve you in the direction of like what your spiritual purpose is, or what your vision for your life is, or what your heart really wants. Like, why do I just mindlessly drink coffee every morning and like put myself into this like do mode of like frantic anxiety? Well, because I just drink coffee with my dad all the time, and my grandma and I connect with coffee, and my buddy taught me how to drink in college. It's like so much emotional attachments that I've had to behaviors. This is a very like superficial example, but she's just shown me, not like always in the nicest way, because I'm not ready to receive anything nice, but like every now and again we have these kind of like real serious like frictional moments where it's like I'm being a dick, and I know I'm being a dick. Why am I being a dick? And here's the biggest mind-blowing thing that's happened for me, is I've realized that like the feminine energy and like conscious women are ego barometers for men. And that like I've never seen you manufacture anger that wasn't caused by my like unconscious energy. So because of that, I've come to know grudgingly, I've come to grudgingly accept that whenever she's upset, it's almost always my fault. And you know, like it's like she's never like upset when I'm happy, and she's never like happy when I'm upset, happy the way that I want to see her happy. Which is great, because it points to me getting to take responsibility for things that I can actually move the needle on in my life, so that I show up as a bigger, more beautiful person, like in everything. And I feel like that's like the whole point of like being in a relationship, is to
like inviting each other to be the best version of yourself, right?
Right. And it'd be nice if it was actually as easy as that sounds.
Well, you know, relationships are not just butterflies and unicorns, it's everything.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been the biggest thing for me. Everything from coffee to drinking alcohol to, you know, like how I work out and how I plan my morning routine, and just like how I respond and how I show up, and like who I spend my time with and who I choose as friends, and like all these things, you know, and honestly, to your credit, never in like a you're wrong, go fuck yourself kind of way, which would totally like trigger me and put me into fight mode. You just do a great job of presenting it in a way of like, what if you did this way? You know, just enough for me to actually pay attention.
Thanks. Yeah, I just love how he's so like receptive and open. Like I feel so like grateful to like be able to truly express the way that I'm feeling, and him not like always be on like a defensive mode, but actually like listening and being like, okay, like wow, like that's something I could look at. And you know, I would hope he does the same for me. You know, we are always learning from each other like on a consistent basis, and it's amazing. Like we watch documentaries together and just grow together, and I've never experienced a relationship where I was able to like have somebody who's interested in the same stuff that I'm interested in, and then want to actually like make changes in their life because of it. And like before we were together, he was always like, you know, coffee shop, like work straight, like every single day that he possibly could. And I feel like I've kind of helped open him up to going to more like retreats and gatherings, and he's become a lot more open to like the community lifestyle and stuff. And so I just love his spontaneity with traveling too. Like, yeah, it's just an amazing relationship.
Yeah, man, it's like.
I love.
Did you have something to add? Sorry,
Yeah, I
you can
love
talk about this.
when you, Joe, shared about like Kelly, like talking about your like habits, like coffee, right? When we met, he said that he's a nutritionist, and then on our first date, we go to Central Park in New York, and he tells me he wants to get a hot dog.
Oh, God.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a nutritionist. I was like super health conscious, and also like train him to develop healthier habits. So it's
Awesome.
so cool that we have this in common.
I never
Yeah, it's
said
really nice to like be able to feel like I affect him, because he was like total 100% meat eater before he met me, and now he's like vegetarian, and so it's just like so cool that I don't even mean I want him to make his own decisions, but it's cool that I can have that effect. And you know, I wanted to say also, he's changed my life in so many ways. Like, he's with just what he does, with inspiring people to be their true authentic self and live into their purpose. Like, I actually started building the sustainable development brand of my own, and you know, I created the website and the Facebook page, and it's not like he sat there and like helped me do it, but just by being around his energy, like, just inspired me. And we would just sometimes talk about ideas, and then I would just be like, oh yeah, I could do that. And I feel like that's why I'm at where I'm at today, you know, being able to now work on projects around the world that inspire me, because I actually put myself out there, and I was able to, you know, present myself in a way, because he does like authentic branding. So I just kind of was like, oh, like there's something to that. And yeah, there's no way I would be where I am today doing what I love, you know, without him by my side.
That's amazing.
Wow.
really inspiring.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to talk about this, because sometimes you don't even know how you affect your loved one, right? With your presence, with your being, and yeah, it's super inspiring.
Yeah, I'll be sure to send her an invoice now.
And we're definitely gonna talk about what you guys do at the end. But we wanna, you guys started talking about this, but we wanna scratch a little bit more on like, what has been your biggest challenge? Like something that, like a trigger or something that you're really like working on navigating.
Yeah. I'll go.
No, I want to talk about the challenge.
Really funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, so we just went on this amazing retreat where we like just learned a lot about our own like spirituality and like where we want to go in our lives and how we're integrating that now. And I feel like something we both got from that was like living from our hearts and living in flow. And I feel like that has been hard for both of us, because although we want to stay in that like flow love state, we both have like so much pressure, we feel, you know, but like, is it really pressure? But like for working and like both being entrepreneurs and like wanting to get stuff done, like how do we find the balance between making sure that we're still staying in that love state, but also like getting stuff done at the same time? So we've been practicing being able to still, you know, work and then also like be in the loving mode as well. So yeah.
I would say our biggest, I'll say our biggest strength, and then the challenge is kind of associated to it. Our biggest strength is that we see the same possibility for humanity, and we're both dedicated to building it. Like we both have the same vision and purpose. Essentially, we're just coming at it from different angles. Me more on like helping elevate human consciousness through business, and her through like building sustainable communities where people have space to liberate themselves to live their purpose. But ultimately, we both work towards creating a world where everybody's free to live their purpose. So towards that, I guess, I think our biggest challenge comes from what we believe the world to currently be, and therefore what we believe to be possible in that model of what we see the world as. So I come from Ohio, in like Cleveland, Ohio, and it was very much like a blue collar mindset. Like you wake up and you work all day, you wake up, you work all, you know, like I got a college education. So it's like the same mindset. It's just you work in a cubicle instead of, you know, in a blue collar job. And then after breaking free from that and coming to California, it's been kind of like consciousness whiplash, where I thought that a lot of what is lived by a lot of the conscious community out here, I thought I only figured out alone, and I was the only one that ever figured this stuff out by listening to Alan Watts, like on YouTube videos. And it's honestly been a huge ego check for me to come up and show up and be like, what? Like, there's a whole bunch of people living this way. So I feel like our biggest challenge is that Kelly knows better than me, like intuitively with her whole body, that you can live in flow, and that when you trust life and live from your heart, it definitely all works out. I think you do better to have a trust in that than me. And so my challenge is that, like, part of me really values hard work and pushing through. So like an example would be like this morning, like Kelly was in bed and she like really was in a moment where she needed some love. And I woke up and I was like, I gotta hit the gym and I do this and do that. And I was just really in like, how do I charge the masculine mode? Like, I'm going to get rewarded for hard work, you know, because I felt like an inadequacy or something inside of me. Like my way of recharging my self-love is like getting to the gym, getting a new PR and some bench press or something, and then getting back and then having a conversation about love and heart and all that stuff. But like, first, let's force ourselves through pain. You know, that's kind of been like my mode. And Kelly's like, no, all that exists are feelings now, because now is all there is, you know, and I like know that esoterically in my like soul, but I have a hard time bringing what my soul knows to what my actions do. And I think that's really, hopefully that makes any sense, but
yeah,
absolutely. Finding the balance between the two there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's kind of what you said, just in a different way.
Cool. I'm curious if you guys had like a conflict where maybe like about something mundane, where like she didn't wash the dishes and you're like, oh my God, like, I don't know, like whatever it is for you. We had this with the toilet paper. Like I put the toilet paper and it was the other way. You need to put it the other way. And it's like,
oh, how dare you.
He would like not like it. He was like, again, you put the two. And we had this like little like conflicts and little like that you know, started to build up, and then like, you know, it's like and so I'm wondering if you have something like this and how you navigate that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, like, because, you know, people look at us from the outside, or you guys from the outside, and they're like, oh, they're, you know, perfect relationship. But it's like,
beautiful power couple.
Yeah, but
if you only knew.
There's always still those like little things that, you know, come up in a relationship. So it's just like cool for other people to hear that stuff still happens. And yeah, I would say like
the avocados and Bonsall.
Oh my God, that wasn't even a fight.
Felt real to me.
It's just so silly because like I was just talking and I was like, you know, it's just funny sometimes how you when you live with somebody, there's like little things that really don't matter at all that actually like bother you. So I was like, oh, if you hadn't cut up this avocado yesterday, it wouldn't be brown today, you know, just something silly like that. So
but what's hilarious is it was just her way of communicating something that was totally valid and true and like, yeah, just interesting and kind of funny. But when I heard it, immediately I remembered how my mom would always be bitching in the kitchen about stuff like, oh, I remember, like just when she was like not connected to her heart, you know, and she was feeling unloved by my dad, and she was pissed off by my sister not cleaning her room, and the business was doing whatever it was doing, you know, like all the things. Then she would like just nag about random little stuff in the kitchen, you know, and like the way that she would say it would be that kind of like underhanded sort of, I'm not going to straight up say, hey, Joe, like, you shouldn't have cut this, you know, you shouldn't have opened 2 ketchups, you know, or whatever the hell it was. You should just open 1 ketchup and wait till it's done and open the second ketchup. And then like the tone that my mom would use to be like, I don't know, Joe, you just opening all these ketchups all over the house, you know, like something in that was like reminisced in like the underbelly of the tone that Kelly used. And it got me all triggered, and now I'm upset. And I feel like this conversation now has just been me saying how fucked up I am. But it's good. It's healing, right?
And how do you like navigate it? How like do you stay in this like angry mode, or do you like just come back to love, you know, and just talk about it?
We're really good at coming back to love. Like even though sometimes it feels like it's hard in the moment, like I feel like he does stay patient with me and I stay patient with him, and we get through. We're like, okay, where does that come from? And we start analyzing it, you know, and we're like, okay, this is why it triggered me. Now, where does that relate in our childhood? And then how do we create a way that doesn't happen in the future? And I think it wasn't until like Costa Rica when like that finally, like, we broke through that, where I don't remember exactly how we healed it, but we thought of a way that we could think and perceive of something in a different manner, and then it literally never comes up again. And I've never had a relationship like that where
You don't repeat fights much.
we don't ever repeat the same patterns over and over. So
It's a coffee.
that one,
Super powerful. That's conscious relationship.
I love that.
I guess so. How about that?
That's incredible.
Yeah. You know what? I think this is the most important piece that I don't know if it'll accidentally come up in a picture, but in a question. But I was in like one of those relationships where we literally broke up 7 times, like before Kelly. Like we were together for 2 years, but there was literally 7 breakups. The 7th time was a charm. And so in one of the breakups, I called my friend Amy, who's a life coach, and I was like, Amy, my world is shattered, blah 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 blah, all the stuff. And Amy's like, what do you really want? And I was like, I don't really know. And she's like, well, you have a list, don't you? Like, where have you written it? I was like, I never wrote it. Like, what do you mean list? She's like, Joe, you have to have a list. So I was like, fine, all right. Like, Amy's like a life coach in West Palm Beach. Her name's she's just an amazing life coach. And her last name escapes me right now, and that's ridiculous. Amy Call, in case anybody wants to look her up. But anyways, I went home and I wrote a list. I wrote like everything that was on my heart, 33 items long, of like my ideal woman. And I'm like, this there's no way this woman freaking exists, but here, it's on paper, fine. And so what I did was I was like, on a hunch, I listened to some personal development video somewhere that told me like you should, speak your vision of your life and listen to it in a recording. So I was like, let me try that. So I like read off my list and had like how I wanted my business and my fitness and like all the different areas of my life to be. And then the chunk about love was me reading off that list of my ideal woman. And then I would listen to that every single morning when I went for a jog or went to the gym. And I'm programming into my subconscious mind the qualities of my ideal woman. And so after the 7th time was a charm, and I was no longer with that woman, I was just like no longer going to settle for less than that 33-point perfect woman. And finally had some breakthroughs when I finally started telling women no, that my past version of myself who didn't know what I wanted would have been like, sure, whatever, let's see where this goes, and like that like lack of intention moving into things, I feel like is why so many people end up in relationships that just suck ass, because they're just really hoping that it's going to be something that they're not even sure they're clear on that they want. And then so when I started saying no to the wrong women, what happened was as soon as I hopped off the train in San Diego and I saw Kelly and we talked for like 10 minutes over a smoothie, I was like, she's the one. And it was just a matter of time before I pulled the trigger, So I think that's the most important thing, because a lot of the times people can hear people talk about like how they love the woman so much and they love their partner so much and everything's perfect and they never have the same fight twice. And like, I just, in case anybody's listening to this right now and they just call bullshit, like, I get it. The answer is write a list and start saying no to the people that don't fit the list. Like, I literally wrote the list while I was in that relationship, and like it was 33 items long. This is really cool, really fun exercise. 33 items long, and then graded that woman I was with 1 to 10 on every item, and then divided by 330, which would have been a perfect score if she had 10 in all of them. And she was a D-. And so I was like, I can't be dating a D-. So anyways, when I got together with Kelly, a couple months in, I read through that list, and she was a 10 out of 10 in all of them.
Kelly, did you have a list too?
Oh yeah, I wrote a list at Date with Destiny. I did that in December 2017, and in January 2018, I was just like, in February, I was just like reading that thing every day. My relationship vision, it was like how I wanted to feel like madly in love, and like travel together and dance and sing together and have unlimited, time and freedom and all of this stuff. And literally it was like, I thought it was impossible. And then I had like the list of traits and all of that stuff too that was in my subconscious. And then I just kind of like let it go, and I was like, okay, now I'm not going to settle for less than being able to have that in my life. And, kind of same thing happened where I just forgot about it. And then I go back and I read this and I'm like, oh my God, like literally every single thing is our relationship. So, and I wrote on there like, yes, I think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. I think he says that to me all the time. We're just like,
You are.
That's amazing. So it's super powerful. That exercise is super powerful. The same thing actually worked for us. I have just a question. What rituals do you guys have together? Curious.
See?
Oh.
One second, I'll grab it.
Yeah,
But before we go into rituals, I just want to say that for all the singles who are watching, it's super powerful to write a list, because I did the same, and it's also was everything on the list, and him even better. You know, like universe always has better in store, and he also had like a Victoria's Secret model kind of.
Yeah, I had a vision of exactly who I was going to sweep off of her feet when I ran into her in New York City. And that's where I found Tatiana standing in line at a club in New York City, and she fit exactly the profile and just the way that we vibed. It was so how we all manifested each other. It seems is
Definitely like singles. If
Yeah.
you're watching this,
singles tip.
make a list.
That's
how you
amazing.
manifest.
Wow, so you actually wrote a list there, brother?
No, I had a vision in my head. I knew what I was looking for. I knew how I was gonna feel. I've said for years that I'm not gonna know when it happens, but I'm gonna know when it happens. I'm not expecting it, but I'll know when it happens. And
Wow.
And
yeah.
I wrote a letter to the universe, and like I explained, I wrote like I want him to be
Freak me out.
blonde hair, blue eyes, like a sports, kind of athlete person, and he's like a gymnast. So it was like everything that even better. So it's.
And that's the other tip. The universe always has a bonus in store for your intentions. So whatever it is that you're writing, there's always something extra that's in store for you.
Oh, that's good. Like the best chin in the human race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I want to do that too.
And it's funny because like she bites my nose all the time. So now that she like rubs her nose into me all the time, her nose actually started to have a nose butt now.
Nose butt.
So it's like a slight crease in her nose.
I go like this into his face, and now my nose has a butt.
Like my chin.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So now if we do it right,
It warms your face.
I'm gonna kiss your nose, kiss my chin.
No, wait, like this.
Oh.
And it's like a butt chin, nose butt kiss.
Yeah.
You guys are adorable.
Butt chin nose. What is that? Say that again. Butt
chin nose butt kiss.
Butt chin nose butt kiss. Ah.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
Otherwise, my mom, my dad both had this, so I got lucky. But otherwise, though,
So tell us about your rituals. Do you have any like morning routine?
Yeah, so we wrote our miracle morning list together one day. So yeah.
Yes.
5 a.m. wake up. That's amazing.
Wake up and cuddle.
We schedule cuddle time.
That's the best. Like, how can you not cuddle?
Mandatory cuddle time.
Oh, wow, I love it. 3
workout.
hours in the morning.
What was that?
3 hours you guys have in the morning, and
Oh yeah. Well, we like to have like an hour workout, so that's why we do that. And then we have like breath work, visualization, meditation. We've got superfood smoothie on there. Shower, and I listen to an audiobook in the shower. We do like journaling and creativity time, and then we do our purpose progress. So yeah, it really helps. We just recently started this because like it's actually taken a little while for us to get there. Like I was always obsessed with that book, Miracle Morning, and I'm like, we should do miracle mornings together. And like in the beginning of our relationship, he was like, no, like my morning time is my morning time. Wanted to go like by himself and all of this stuff. And then after we started doing that together, he's like, why did we never do this before? This is amazing.
yeah.
I'm glad I had that idea for us to do that.
Yeah, all your idea.
And what is the evening routine that you have?
Oh, yeah. We're not as good at following that.
Yeah, we do dinner together, and then like purpose progress, like either like a social media post or something like that. Get ready for bed and meditate, and we put make love and massages on there. So
Oh, that's super important. If you don't put it in there, it definitely is easy to forget.
It's sad how you gotta like really like be like, all right, we gotta schedule that in, you know.
Well, it's just nice because it helps you have the intention to like go to bed a little earlier, so that we just have that relaxed time together. Because sometimes you're just like go during the day that you forget to actually like just hang out, and, like be with each other.
Yeah.
So it's just cool, like to put that in there.
It's so good that you have this so early in your relationship, because I remember when we were like 9 months together, we had no structure, nothing. We were just like whatever. But we only started integrating this stuff like maybe a year ago, and total game changer. You know,
Wow.
we have intentions, now we have the vision, and you know, it's different because at some point we felt like we were growing apart because we didn't have this. So you guys are definitely on a good track there with your relationship.
Yeah, same kind of thing. I see. It was the same way. I run out of the house, like, you know, banana protein shake or pre-energy drink, and you know, go to the gym, and I'm like half waking up on the elliptical, and then that's my time, and then come back. But you know, it's 2 or 3 hours go past, and you come back and shop. By the time that goes past, it's like the main part of the morning's gone. So, you know.
Yeah, the best mornings is when we do the routines together.
Yeah, so we've adapted the same sort of thing now. Morning meditation, journaling, and then
visualization.
Yeah, morning gratitude meditation we wake up to. It's about 20 minutes long. And then we
I'd love to hear you guys' input on like, how does alone time fit into your relationship?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a self-love day. Usually it's on Saturdays, and basically the whole day we have for ourselves. And in the evening we get together like at around 9 o'clock, and we have like epic Saturday night. So basically we have like all Saturday to nurture ourselves, to have like self-love, and then we get together like and it's even more epic. But yeah, sometimes we change the routine. Sometimes instead of like meditating together, we meditate separately. Yeah, just tuning into the flow and tuning into this.
Yeah, taking time. Yeah, Saturday is amazing. We set up a ceremonial space once we come back. So, you know, we light a candle and we set an intention for the space, and you know, and then we just let ourselves. You know, there are rules for the space that we set up that we abide by, and it's very freeing for us just to be completely honest, non-judgmental. Like the rules we adhere to allows for very conscious conversations, and you know, we dance and we party, and you know, we live by ourselves, so it's fun, and you know, yeah, and that's really brings our Saturday together after we've given ourselves that one full day, because.
Yeah,
I love how you guys are so intentional with that. I feel like that's something where like couples that are together a long time, they can just start getting in like a monotonous routine, and so it's like having that intention, like, okay, today give love to yourself, and then we're gonna actually, you know, set this stage where we can have these conversations together. And we do something similar where we do success sips almost every week. And so we talk about like our biggest successes for the week and have like a sip of like a kombucha or something like after, and like cheers each other, like celebrate each other every week. So I would love to hear more about your guys's. You can send us kind of what you guys do so we can start putting that into our practice too.
Yeah, that's good.
So if I jump in, one thing that we do at the end of every day is that we share 3 wins with each other that we had individually. So those can be wins we had with each other, something that went well with our business that we're doing, something to do with family, any really good thing that happened to you, that day you got a client, or you had a breakthrough, you know, saw this amazing webinar, or you know,
or you just helped someone in the store or whatever, just like even little things,
random act of kindness, and yeah, so we share at least 3 wins at the end of every day, and gratitude's in the morning.
Yeah, that's been super bonding for us.
We were doing a gratitude walk. We wake up and walk. We tried that for a couple weeks, and then the coyote showed up, and then
we have coyotes.
She got a little scared, so
oh my gosh,
they ran away. But it was just like we were getting up literally before the sun came up, and it was still kind of dusky, and it was amazing. We'd walk and just say our gratitudes one time around the block, and we'd start from there. But we just adapted a meditation after our wake up. That's been more fitting to us now.
Yeah, and we constantly like try new things. There's so many things you can do in the morning, and there's so many cool things. So yeah, it's constantly evolving.
Just keeping it new and spicy, and that's what it's all about. Trying new stuff.
Yeah, well, I love you guys' routines and everything that you've shared. Do you have anything else that you feel excited to talk about before we dive into getting to know about your work in the world?
Yeah, it's just the importance of nutrition that she's helped me see, which you guys probably know a lot about, but like Kelly's vegan and gluten-free. And if you would have told me that when I lived back in Ohio, that somebody was vegan and gluten-free, I would have been like, so they fast? They don't eat? What do they drink? Water, and lettuce? And, but she's just shown me like the importance of how everything starts with your energy, and the best way to manipulate your energy is not just with your thoughts, but the food you put in you. It's just been an amazing, like, painful journey of like unhitching my emotional attachment to like donuts, and I still haven't shaken that one for sure. But all these different foods that like steak and chicken and all sorts of things that I think a relationship isn't so much tactical. I think the success of a relationship is very much energetic, and I think the biggest thing that you've done for me is remove some barriers to my energy to flow, to be more abundant to you, and more all the time, but definitely in terms of like eating a more vibrant, what's the word? Diet?
Yeah, I cook vegan, gluten-free, and yeah, he really enjoys it. So it's just very awesome to provide, good, healthy food for somebody, and then be like a major media and be like, wow, I never knew there was this much amazing stuff that you could eat that's actually vegan, gluten-free. So that's been cool for me.
Yeah. I want to get some recipes from you.
Seriously, like the whole world needs to know about what she does with like, did you know you can make like amazing cheese with cashews? She takes vegetables and turns it into ranch dressing. I don't know what the hell she's doing.
Wow. Well, let's dive into then your guys' amazing projects, because I know you both up to epic things in the world, and I know you said you have big vision together, but you kind of like come into it from a different angles. So tell us more about it.
Ladies first.
All right. Yeah, so I was in real estate for a few years, and I always had a passion in like living like a sustainable lifestyle, like wanting to create something better for the world. And I found this company called the Venus Project. So they're in Venus, Florida, and they have these concepts about a futuristic city that uses a resource-based economy that can help eradicate like homelessness and hunger and poverty and a lot of issues that are in the world today. So when I found that, I was like, this is my life's purpose. Like, I'm just going to do what I can in real estate and then just jump fully into doing that. So I started my own sustainable development consulting business after I traveled the world researching all the sustainable communities around the world. And so the ultimate vision is to be able to create these spaces where people can live freely and not have to worry and stress all the time, but be able to have new types of education systems that inspire them, have alternative healthcare that keep them healthy, have sustainable building materials that can last for hundreds of years, and have energy and water and waste systems that are healthy for the planet. And truly for people all around the world to feel like they can live their purpose. And I feel like it's just amazing because we're both so interested of people being able to be free and live their purpose in life, but we're doing it different ways. So I'm helping create the environment for people to thrive in that, and he is doing the more inner world.
You gotta check my LinkedIn first.
What? Yeah, he's doing more of the inner world work and being able to bring business and savviness and systems to people who want to create that for their lives. So it's been really collaborative for us.
Yeah.
Billy, and what's the name of your project or business? And do you have a website where our listeners, viewers can go and check it out and be a part of it?
Yeah, it's called New Earth Now, and it's online at newearthnow.world. It's also on Facebook as well. And right now I'm working on several projects. I do like project management for the One Heart Journey Tribe. It's for in Nosara, Costa Rica for that one. And then I'm doing some eco-village projects around here. So I'm basically just bringing people together that have all these different levels of expertise in like permaculture and water systems and sustainable building materials and have land. So anybody that's interested in any of that stuff, I would love for them to reach out to me.
Yeah, we will put the links below. So if you're listening and watching, you're welcome to go and check it out and be a part of it.
Thanks.
And she's cute too.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
And
so as far as
what
my
about
journey,
you?
I graduated with electrical engineering degree in like Toledo, Ohio. So super rigid, like I was saying earlier, super rigid, like blue collar sort of mentality. And then I had 4 internships and electrical engineering internships, but I hated them all. And I was talking to my buddy on the phone and he's like, I've had 5 internships, electrical engineering at Ohio State University, and I've hated them all too. So we're like, we got to do something about this. There's probably a lot of other kids that are having internships that they hate. So we started a company called InternWire, which is like an online internship review platform for students to self-navigate to the career of their dreams. He was the CEO, I was the chief operating officer. And, you know, it wasn't really a soul's purpose project. I don't think we were old enough or like aware of ourselves enough to really tap in spiritually to like a vision of like who we really are and a purpose and things. It was kind of just transactional to make money. And so we got into an accelerator program and started to get seed funding and access to these mentors. And because we always attract what we are in life, the mentors were also very transactional. And so what was happening was that we were being taught these business strategies and marketing strategies and up on whiteboards all night long, like writing things, just geeking out and drinking energy drinks and stuff, so that we could scale and sell, like, you know, get venture capital and scale and sell, so that someday we could do what we all really want to do. Everybody, you know, afterwards on a Friday and Saturday night would be having drinks downtown Columbus, talking about like what they're going to do after they sell for all these millions of dollars. And at some level, my buddy Mike, who was my partner then, is my best friend now. He was my business partner then, to be clear. We had a soul conversation where like, you know, this isn't really what our heart wants. Like we're giving up something more important by continuing to work on this just finance sort of project. And so on the toughest day of my life, we decided to pull the plug. And I called one at a time our team and said, this project we've been putting all of this energy in, it's done. We're pulling the plug. And so that was tough. That led to me spinning for a while and trying to figure out like, what is my purpose? And I picked up this job, this a sales job, making 200 cold calls a day, working 70 hours a week as an executive recruiter, like helping accountants get new jobs in Cincinnati. Like I was not passionate about any of it. And then the solar eclipse happens in 2017. And I'm looking up at this eclipse and I knew immediately, like I had to stop this thing where had this plan to make a bunch of money so that someday I could do what I love. Because I realized it came through very clearly, like a quote, like if I live my life doing something that I hate, earning money so that someday I could, you know, teach others the same journey. Because that's kind of like what we all crave, or at least a lot of clients that I work with and people crave, to somehow help other people on their journey. Like I would only ever be able to, from that stage, help other people live a life that they also hate. So I'm like, oh, I got to just do it now. And so as soon as I quit my job that day and leapt into making Facebook videos, I didn't know friggin' idea what I was talking about, but I just started to meditate every morning and make a Facebook video, meditate every morning, make a Facebook video. And that kind of progressed and started to attract some clients to say like, Joe, you talk about meaning and purpose all the time. You seem to have at least clarity of your words figured out. Do you think you could help me figure out my meaning and my purpose? So that turned into like a purpose coaching business that kind of evolved naturally. And then I helped enough people get clear on their purpose. And then they started asking me like, well, now that I want to do this thing, you gave me direction. Now what are the tools? I want to start an online business like you have. And I was like, oh, well, you're just going to do that and do this and you do this. And this is what a funnel is. And this is a little bit about marketing. That's how you kind of sell yourself without being spammy. And so it turned into like a purpose-driven entrepreneurship consulting company. And then at some point I realized I can't help as many people as I want to help. Like if I really want to create a world where everybody's free to live their purpose, I can't serve enough people one-on-one. So what I did was, we got kind of a weird glare coming in here. What I did was create a full online school, which is called the Viral Purpose Academy. So that's what I help entrepreneurs do now, is earn a living doing what they love through masterminds and a full online academy And we meet every other week and stuff. So I'm super, super passionate about scaling that, growing that, helping as many people come together in community as possible. Because what I find is that their connections, them holding themselves accountable, a little bit of guidance from me and like some training from people that I pull in to do trainings with. But what I find is that when I step out a little bit more, people transform a lot more, like, because there's an energy of community when people come together. Because here's the situation, when they're like starting to crack open and follow this purpose or transition from something to something else, everybody thinks they're the only one. I told you, like, that was my journey. I thought I was the only person on earth in Ohio that like ever thought of anything on like a metaphysical level, you know. Yeah, but turns out, like, when you decide to become a purpose-driven entrepreneur, there's a whole bunch of other people that are also cracking into that, because the evolution of the consciousness of the planet right now. So connecting those people in a tribe, moving towards everybody having the shared goal of making the world a better place by earning a living doing what you do, what they love. That's been absolutely, like, I finally like feel like I hit a groove, you know. Like, now I'm like, oh yeah, this is the fucking thing. For so long I've been looking.
I love when
like,
that happens.
there. Yeah, I've been almost.
It kind of naturally unfolded for you.
What's that?
Kind of naturally unfolded for you, right? As you start doing these Facebook Live videos. That's a great way, like, for people who still don't know what they want to do, is just to like start sharing about what they know, right? It will make sense at some point.
Yeah, exactly. So the funny thing is, it's like the way I've come to understand it is that our eyes face outwards, our ears face outwards, like all of our sensory perception abilities are all facing outwards, right? And that's how we like analyze what the world is, and we perceive value is based upon like what we take in our senses. So your soul can't talk to you unless you like puke your soul out somehow through your art or your music or your singing or your drawing or whatever it is. Once you get it out of you, you rewatch your video, you're like, damn it, I'm kind of good. You know? And like everybody ends up seeing that. And once you do that, you get a little more certainty. And you do it again, and you get more certainty. And then enough people see it, and you start to realize, like, shit, I've got a message. You know, that's just kind of the evolution.
Wow, beautiful. And can you tell our viewers how they can find you online?
Yeah, you can check me out at Joe McVeen on Instagram, or just go straight to the viralpurposeacademy.com. Just viralpurposeacademy.com.
Awesome. Well, I love what you're up to in the world, and I love how you both have your own passions. And like, I have this next question that just came to me is, do you guys have a shared vision together? How maybe you combine your two superpowers and create something? Have you ever thought of it?
Yeah, I think that we probably first thought of it when he saw he started to see my vision for like building communities, because, you know, my vision, like, he thinks, most people would think like, oh, you build eco villages way out in the boonies and like people live there that are weirdos or whatever, you know, like that's the typical like unconscious way of looking at it. But what I really want to do is bring the luxuriousness and the community aspect. So like something that we could build even right here in Encinitas, or, you know, somewhere where it's more urban, but also have like the sustainable aspects to it. So we're going to be building this retreat center in Nosara, and you know, he started talking about how he is like finally interested to live there once he started seeing the vision more, and that he's like, oh, I would love to help build like because we're going to do like an Ewok village and like the tree houses and like, you know, just be more with nature, like live more out in nature. And then there's also going to be retreats there, and he does like masterminds, so, you know, he could hold masterminds there. And for me, I would love to start speaking out around the world about how you can live a more sustainable lifestyle, because it's not just about creating these big communities, but it's also like healthy eating and daily habits, and, you know, are we buying plastic, and how do we stay away from that, like more go zero waste and composting and recycling and, you know, all of this stuff. So I want to be able to speak about a lot of the things that we can do as individuals to change our environment and make daily choices to create a better world. So he totally holds me in that high integrity to speak out my authentic truth. So I'm going to be doing a speaking engagement in LA June 22nd at the Disclosure Fest.
Yeah.
Like my first big one. So it's
when
really
is it
cool.
happening?
What?
What's the date?
It's June 22nd. It's called Disclosure Fest. It's at the Community Village. I'll send you guys the link if you want.
Okay.
Please do. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm finally getting myself out there too. So we totally like motivate each other and support each other in our visions.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Turns out eco-villages aren't just hippies and huts in the third world. It's hippies with marble countertops in the third world.
Funny. I love the concept of the Ewok village, though. I can just see it now with the torches and, you know,
Exactly.
just the bonfire. I could totally see it.
Yeah, my vision is to you know, digitally run like a multi-million-dollar company that keeps, you know, that and inspires human consciousness all around the world, helping people live their purpose from the Ewok village, wearing few if any clothes, spending all the time with Kelly, playing my guitar, and eating your amazing food grown locally.
Sounds like a good life.
That's my vision. Like, the laptop's got the money taken care of. If we want it, we'll donate a huge chunk of it to charity. Like, we don't even need it. We just want to make sure that we're transforming people outside of heaven, and then within heaven, we'll just play the guitar and make a lot of love. You know.
I love it.
That's what matters, right? At the end of the day, love.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Why we do what we do.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, really just, it's so amazingly powerful the way you guys share your love, and so curious to see where your journey takes you. So one question I have for every couple is, so you've been together 9 months. So what is one tip you could share with our audience that they can take away that is like your number one tip for that makes it all work for you guys?
For couples.
For couples.
One each? Should we huddle up and get the one?
We could do one each.
Either
Or either
if you
way.
have one general one or one each, whatever it is.
Yeah. I would say that, remember that, like, life has a track. Like, life is intelligent, I guess, is the first point. And by that I mean everything that ever comes into any of our lives. For me, I'll just speak personally, I found that everything that comes into my life is for my expansion into a more conscious and loving human being. Whether I'm gonna take that with inspired action or kicking and screaming is up to me. But you know, Kelly has been like the most pure example of that in my life. All sorts of different things also fit that kind of phenomenon. But Kelly, it's like exactly everything that I ever said I wanted to be. Kelly showed up as like the hand pulling me from my own future into the man I always said I was going to be, like against my ego's interest. And so I would say, just like, set your intentions, say yes more than you say no, and trust the process. Like that, I think those 3 points, if are hard, but especially if you're as like stubborn and Midwestern as I am, but she's absolutely the best thing that ever happened to me.
I love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that. And I would say, you know, for me, it would be, just surrendering into, like, where is this taking me, and just following your heart and your intuition. And one of the biggest things I would say for people out there, never settle for less than what you truly, truly desire, because what you really, truly want is out there. And it is possible to have the greatest relationship that you've ever had in your life. And that doesn't mean it's always going to be rainbows and butterflies, but it's definitely, you know, it's getting the big breakthroughs that you need, because we're mirrors for each other. We're all mirrors. And so when we up-level our relationship, we're really just up-leveling ourselves. So never settle, and you'll get there.
Love it.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that
For sharing.
golden nugget of advice, really. I hope that our listeners and viewers can take away something from that.
Yeah, it was absolute joy to have you with us, our first interview. And thank you for sharing your hearts and your souls and your visions. Just super nourishing. And we're so excited to see how your lives will unfold. And I want to see you again, maybe like on episode 100, right?
Thank you so much.
Check
Feel so honored to be your first podcast, and you guys are just such an inspiring couple to see.
Yeah, you
You've
guys
been
are seriously amazing.
together so long, and I just love hearing that you guys still have that, such that strong connection, and you still do your daily rituals and all of your awesome stuff. So you're definitely an inspiration to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy for us to sound good fresh out the gate, but you guys are the real MVPs, in it after 5 years. Well done.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Really, it's been our pleasure having you guys, and hope to see you soon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, until next time.